Thanksgiving, it's right around the corner now, which means we're approaching the busiest travel days of the year. This year's domestic travel is expected to set a new overall record with nearly 82 million Americans expected to travel next week. But some travelers still have headaches in the wake of the recent government shutdown, which affected thousands of flights for weeks. The Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, they announced yesterday that operations are finally fully back to normal. They're ready for the big Thanksgiving holiday week, but the United States travel economy took a massive hit. Will the consequences find their way to the American consumer, to travelers? A Chief Investment Officer at Kingsview Wealth Management, Scott Martin, joins us now with insight. Scott, great to have you back with us. What are you expecting here? These were big-time economic losses during the shutdown. Is that going to impact the upcoming travel season, be it Thanksgiving or closer to Christmas and the New Year?
Well, it depends. And Ian, we're talking about billions of dollars that was lost or maybe just put off to where we are now in this time frame of the year, which makes me kind of do-si-do on the answer, because part of it could be that folks like my mother, for example, do not want to travel now because of the headaches that she experienced some weeks ago. But then other folks who didn't travel or had issues maybe want to travel now because either they didn't take that trip or maybe they want to see if it's better. So I think net-net it's probably going to be even. However, though, it's just like you're saying. I mean, now we've got the real season upon us as far as travelers. You mentioned the record numbers we're going to see. And is the, let's say, the employees and all the folks that are part of that infrastructure, are they ready to handle that again? Because I feel for the folks that were working without pay, that were probably stressed out and overcome with all the, activity that was going on when they were struggling to get the planes in the air and so forth. It's like, are they ready for all the planes and stuff to be going as normal? Because I think there was some maybe some attrition with regards to some of the workforce there with the air traffic controllers and TSA. And so hopefully they're ready for another record year, because that's what we're going to get.
Yeah, Scott, I'm curious about pricing, because you just said it. I went through it myself. So many of us have a little bit of a bad taste in our mouths after some of the travel experiences over the last several weeks. But these companies, toward the back end of the shutdown, it was hundreds of millions of dollars a day being lost by the airlines. They just got beat for all that money. Are they going to try to make that up? Do you see in overall pricing? Do you expect to see any increases moving forward?
Well, these are for-profit companies, so I would assume they try to get some of that back. I don't know if they ever asked the government for some help with that, because I think the government was partly, at least maybe wholly to blame, as we've found out. And I think, too, Ian, like, think about this. Think about all the cab drivers or driver services that missed out on this. Think about the folks that work in the airports, that have businesses in the airports that are attributable to that, or the folks that would have spent the money on their trips that were going to businesses that did not see those travelers. I mean, it's a massive amount of spread there. So I think there's a chance that we do see higher prices as a result of, say, getting back to normal, and the fact that demand, it's always the less of economics. If you get back to normal demand, or say higher demand as we maybe expect, the prices can go up because the demand is there. And so there's folks that will unfortunately have to pay those prices for the travel or for the accommodations or the services. But all in all, I guess that's a good thing, because we do want to get back to normal, and that's where we are. And we do want to see these companies get the profits they deserve. It's just getting there was a little bit wacky this time around.
Yeah, now I'm curious moving forward with weather in the mix. We were talking about into the early part of next week, maybe some of the southern hubs, Houston, Dallas, starting to be impacted by what could be some rain, some wind. And this is an opportunity, to your point, after what was a rough run for all of these companies through the shutdown, to hopefully have a smooth, profitable window through what's left of the year to keep things rolling. How problematic do you think it could be if we do get some high-impact storms in the big weeks, next week and into the Christmas holiday, New Year's, for companies through this stretch?
It doesn't look great. And last time I checked, this time of year is a little bit dicey in places. And then by January and February, forget about it. We're going to be bound to get at least a winter here in the Midwest, I think, at some point in the Northeast. So we're due for something rough. And you mentioned the kind of, the big storm that's going kind of up the Northeast next week, too. And if you look outside that week, and the next, kind of round of models have shown there's going to be some snow and some ice in the Midwest pretty precipitously, I guess, after that. So we're likely going to get some makeup for what we've seen as some pretty docile winters in the Midwest and the travel areas in the Northeast. So that's going to be obviously a big problem for some of these companies that have to kind of juggle around those issues. But I think as travelers, at least we're all going to be maybe kind of used to that as far as weather delays and things that are more natural versus a government shutdown. But then again, you got to figure that's going to, say, maybe rejigger that old PTSD that we all have from just some months ago where we were just stuck because of the government issues, and it doesn't make any traveler feel good or doesn't make us want to travel.
Yeah. Ideally, we move on from this turbulent stretch. We get some turkey, some good food with our family.
And then the next one waits for us. Yeah.
Keep it rolling right on through the holidays. That's the Chief Investment Officer at Kingsview Wealth Management, Scott Martin. Scott, great to have you back with us. We'll be talking soon, but happy Thanksgiving if I don't see you.
You too. See you.